Let's go. We are driving around Atlanta. Talking about buying and selling homes. Today I'm going to talk about selling homes, right? Setting realistic expectations when it comes to, your goals as a home seller. Because ultimately, you want to sell your home, right? You don't want to list your home. I'm not in the business of listing homes. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to help you sell your home and do a good job while I am doing it. So no matter where you are, these tips can help you when it comes to interviewing agents and selling your home and getting the most out of your return, right? So ultimately, let's start with buyers will pay what they feel it's worth, not what you need. And this is what a lot of home sellers tend to forget. They say, oh, I need to make, $100,000 on the sale of this home. Great, I understand that you need that, but is that what the market is going to pay? As always, this episode is not brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. It is brought to you by caffeine, because caffeine is what keeps me going. What the shit is going on here? Oh my gosh, what did I do? I missed my exit. Now it's telling me to... Anyway, all right, here we go. Get a little extra drive time. It's okay. I'm still getting to my appointment on time. So yeah, so that being said, hey, it's all about what the market will pay, not what you need. And you need to just be cognizant of that, because if you think you're going to sell it based on what you need, you're in for a rude awakening, unfortunately. So, focus on that and make sure you realize that, you may not get what you need. But if ultimately, what's more important to you? $5,000 or $10,000, or getting to the next place you need to be in your life. And now is honestly not the time to test the market and say, hey, I'm going to see if I can get top dollar, because chances are you're not going to get it if you're just testing the market, unless you are fully move-in ready, good to go, amazing, updated home, well taken care of, great curb appeal, right? It's just the market's not paying top dollar for homes. So guess what? Next, tip number 2. Zillow is not writing offers based on that Zestimate. Sorry, not sorry. Right? Like, ultimately, a Zestimate is it's a Zestimate, and if you see on their website, there's a disclaimer about their Zestimate on the website. So go find that yourself. I don't remember exactly what it says, but it basically says that the price may not be what they suggest it is. So if you realize that when you're looking at this estimate, it's like, wow, all right, maybe they are wrong. All right, next, when it comes to selling your home, guess what? Buyers have more choices than they did a few years ago. Bottom line, inventory is coming up, especially even in Atlanta, right? Atlanta is still a seller's market. In some neighborhoods, again, every market is different. Every neighborhood is different. There are neighborhoods where we are still seeing bidding wars. Out of the last 2 offers I wrote for 2 separate buyers, I dealt with bidding wars. Yeah, it happens. That's not the norm, but they were also very popular neighborhoods. So yeah, buyers have more choices than they did years ago. Right now, we are looking at 4.5 months supply of inventory, which under 5 to 6 months is basically a balanced market. We are getting awfully close to a balanced market between buyers and sellers. Now, what does 4.5 months inventory even mean? That's a meaningless number to most people. Basically, it means if homes stopped hitting the market today at the current rate they're being purchased, we would run out of homes in 4.5 months. Now, you usually look at the bottom 1 month supply of homes being the stuff that people don't want, that's overpriced, not in good condition, whatever the case may be. But again, that number kind of changes. So buyers, yeah, they've got more choices, right? They're going to be selective, and they've got access to information, right? They can see what homes sold for. And because of that, they're educated, right? They're not going to overpay for a home. So, you got to price accordingly, and you got to take care of your home. You got to put out a better product, right? All right. This is a big one, and this is a hard one for a lot of people to understand. Buyers, they're not paying more for your memories. That's what they are. They're your memories, right? And when you have that emotional attachment to a home, you feel like it is the best home ever. And I don't want to knock anyone's home, but you have to look at this from, the perspective of a buyer who doesn't have those memories yet, right? Same thing when you're going to find a home, you're going shopping for your next home. Do you have the memories of the seller? No. You're putting your own life experiences on it, right? So you have to remember that. They're not paying for your memories, and that really, if you can separate yourself emotionally from the home and say, this is a business, it's not a business, first of all, but it is an investment right? It's most people's single largest investment. So they're not going to overpay, because what happens if, again, if you overpay for a home, what happens? You're stuck in that home. What happens if you're underwater on your mortgage and you can't sell your home for what you need, and then you take a loss? Any other buyers the same way. They're making the same decisions as well. Hey, pricing, here we go, the big one. Pricing for negotiation, it backfires pretty much 99% of the time. I mean, more often than not, it's just not going to work in their favor. There are a few instances where that might work. That being said, you want to price right. Just if you price right out the gate, you're more likely to sell for the price you should have, rather than having the home sit on the market. So try and remember that, and that will be incredibly helpful when it comes to, selling your home. All right. Updates matter. But here's the sad truth. Typically, not dollar for dollar, right? It's just, you're not going to get that dollar for dollar return on the updates. Kitchens and primary bathrooms, they may, come close. But, beyond that, when you start doing things like opening walls, that's what's preferred. That's what gets the top dollar sales in the neighborhood. But that is expensive. So, and appraisers don't always see the value in that. So just, be aware that you may not get 100% return, but at the same time, you are going to get more interest in selling your home. Because ultimately, if an investor has to come in and do the work to sell the home, you're definitely better off doing the work yourself. I always tell everyone, you're better off doing the work yourself. Hey, here is an amazing tip that I've seen in action, not in practice, right? Not even just theory, just practice. The highest offer isn't always the best offer. It's a sad truth, right? You have so many variables when looking at, offers that come in on a home. First of all, are they qualified, right? Are they fully pre-approved? How's their financing look? Are they putting down 20% versus, 3.5% or 5%? What does the conversation look like with the lender? Now, there's only certain questions I'm allowed to ask the lender, but I can make sure I can ask them if they've done their due diligence and done the things they're supposed to do when it comes to pre-approving the clientele. And, I've literally had conversations with agents where I said, we've had the highest offer come in, but at the same time, it was just they basically wrote the highest offer to try and beat us up after the fact once they went under contract and inspection. So you really want to be careful when it comes to the highest offer and analyze, inspection periods, what they plan on doing with the home. Are they just trying to beat you up? And, hey, it's helpful. I've been in scenarios where I've had an agent come in, write the offer, and then beat us up afterwards, right, in the inspections. And I've had another offer come in from that same agent down the road. And I told my seller, I said, look, here's what they did the first time I dealt with them. And then even the inspector told me he's dealt with them, and this is sort of the way they behave regularly. So it's good to work with an agent who is experienced because, hey, I'm not going to know every agent in the business, right? There's 87% of failure. 87% of agents fail. But let's decline that potential spam. 87% of agents fail in this business over the course of 5 years, and most of that happens in the first year or two. So I can't know everyone, but I can know the agents that are working and have been in it for a while, and the ones that tend to operate in a way that may or may not be difficult. So it is helpful, again, to work with agents who have been at it for a while and know that the highest offer isn't always the best offer. My phone ringing, text coming in, hey, guess what? Next tip. We're up to 8 tips already, right? Condition matters more than you think, right? Buyers are walking in the door, and not even walking in the door, they're pulling up to the house. They're driving through the neighborhood, right? And you're getting dings against right? You're starting at 100, and they're dinging down, right? They're taking off points. Is the neighbor's house in terrible condition? What's your yard look like, right? What's the curb appeal of your home? What's the exterior look like? What's the paint look like? What do the steps look like? Does the house need to be power washed? All these things are ticking away at the yes. So if you have a house that's in better condition, you're going to get more offers. It's as simple as that, right? So paying attention to detail. And that's why staging can be so important. If you move out of your home and selling a vacant home, every single blemish is showing in your home. So hey, again, condition matters, period. Your home, but when it comes to condition, tip number 9, right? We're gonna roll right into that. Condition matters, and your home doesn't have to be perfect, and it does have to be competitive. It has to be competitive. Essentially, it has to be competitively priced for the condition. And price essentially matters most, right? It's price, condition, location. You can't control location when you're selling your home. You can control your location when you're buying your home, which is why one of my tips with my buyers, I always talk about, hey, main roads, right? Hills, power lines. These are all things that affect resale, and you can control these things when you are purchasing the home. But once you own it, you have to deal with another phone call coming in. So finally, hey, chasing the market is expensive. You do not want to overprice your home and keep reducing to catch up the market. You have to say, where is the market going right now, okay? Are we priced right for what's happening in the market? Ultimately, you have to say what's happening in the world, what's happening in the market, and then you have to say, this is kind of where it's going. So if we're priced at the top now and it looks like other people are reducing, we don't want to be one of those people reducing. We want to price towards the bottom of what's right versus the top of what's right so that you get a sale of your home. So, hey, I hope all these tips are helpful for you. As always, if you have any real estate goals and dreams, give me a call, send me an email. Let's have a conversation. In fact, I'd rather get on the phone and talk about your long-term hopes and dreams. And, let's discuss that, right? Is this year the time that you want to make a change? And if you're making a change anywhere in the country, let me know, because I can help you. I've got a great network of agents So all that being said, I'm Tony Toich. Hey, this is Living and Moving in Atlanta. Let's help you sell your home. Let's help you buy a home. Let's help you realize your real estate hopes and dreams.